Hey, this is Jared Cochran with Family Church. Welcome to our podcast. Be sure to subscribe so we can get you these messages every single week. Have a great day.
She at my house?
Welcome to the family room.
No,
It's
you did not.
Another great Wednesday. That just Kelsey
Everybody's
is watching from
hey
your house.
now.
We're just gonna start laughing every week, I guess. It's a wonderful Wednesday. I've completely forgotten where I am. Just some quick announcements. Let us know where you're watching from. Women's Fellowship Night is on November 9th, tomorrow, 6:30 to 8 p.m. Classic Christmas Movies Family Night. I'm looking forward to that one. December 15th from 5:30 to 8. I'm pretty sure we're going to do like the old, oh man, I hope I don't say the wrong ones. Kelsey told me. I think it's Frosty,
That's
the
all
old
Frosty.
Rudolph. I just had a blank. I just had them. The old Grinch, the classic Grinch, not the Jim Carrey one,
cool.
the old cartoon one. All just old stuff like that. And it was a lot of fun doing the church people thing up here. And that movie was great. So
Good.
I'm going to find like a giant beanbag to lay on. The Ugly Christmas Sweater Day on Sunday, December 17th.
Kathy,
Everybody needs to get involved.
We've got to go shop. Get me an ugly
Are you
Christmas.
going to do one? Or do you want me to preach that day and I'll wear one?
I'm not. I don't know who's going to be preaching, but I'm not. I won't wear one to preach in, but I will
I'll
wear
do it.
one to
I'll
be here.
totally do it.
It's completely distracting. We can't do that.
Oh, come on. It's a part of the day. PJs and Pancakes, the same day, December 17th, 10 a.m. till 12, well, obviously until whatever with church ends. And don't forget the Christmas Eve candlelight service, December 24th.
It's Christmas
Eve.
and that's a Sunday.
And that's a Sunday. We will not be having morning church. We will be having the candlelight service at, I guess, 6 p.m.
Yes.
For some reason, I thought it was a different time. Also, while you're letting us know where you're watching from, put it in the chat. What's your favorite Christmas movie? I know it's a little early. What would you say yours is? You got to be ready.
I knew this was going to happen. I'm shallow. So I really like
with the Grinch.
Jim Carrey's The Grinch.
His is really good.
It's my favorite. It's because it's the great story of what it is. He gets all this messed up, and then he gets redemption, and he gets back, and the house ends with a yay. So I really
the new animated one was kind of good too. That we've
Benedict
watched.
Cumberbatch.
Yeah, whatever his name is. We've had to watch it. You know how kids are. They get
We're
obsessed
already
with
putting
something.
Kathy Murray to sleep. Hey, Kathy, wake
Jeez,
up!
sorry. Just having the joy of the Lord. No, last night. Have you ever seen the Chevy Chase one with the Griswolds Christmas? I think it's like
Yeah.
Christmas Vacation or whatever.
Yeah, it's been a while.
We watched that again last. I know that's like totally off topic with Jesus, but it's so funny. It's such a
But
good
it's
movie.
coming new. I see a lot of people there watching. Nick Roundtree, glad to have you here. Joanna Garcia, glad to have you there. I saw Shelley Cochran watching. We're glad to have you guys there. Thanks for being here. We're going to go to work. And Wednesday night, the family room, this is when we break down the sermon from last Sunday. And I had the privilege of being up to bat. And so I was trying to do a little short series to wrap the year up. It's already November. I can't believe it.
It's going fast.
It's almost over. This year is almost over. And so I wanted to get ahead of it and start talking about finishing the year strong. And you guys, are y'all ready for that? Are y'all ready for the end of the year, the beginning of a new year, all of that? I mean, this is like our favorite season because
I love Christmas.
we're coming into Thanksgiving,
When
and I
it's
love
nice
the
and
whole
cool.
Thanksgiving thing and the cool seasons. Somebody's watching from Lion's Den Karate. Good Lord.
That's Tanya.
And-
I'm looking forward to the fried turkey. And I got to make
yeah.
that smoked mac and cheese again now that I got that new grill.
Yes.
I got to do that again. I should get some like Gouda or something. Or I don't care. She asked for a scriptural study on Sunday. So it was Ecclesiastes 7:8, Nehemiah 6:16, which, if you remember, he said was the wrong verse on Sunday. That is the one you put in planning
It was
center,
the correct verse. It was a
but
different translation.
You had the different translation.
So
than
we
you
were
think.
both right. We were arguing about that
you're
before
one
we
of those-
started.
oh, yeah.
So we'll make a concession that I probably gave him the wrong translation.
You also mentioned Philippians 1:6, and there was one more, but I don't remember what it was.
We'll get to it later. But one of the things that's a little bit of homework, Kathy Cochran, the one with Kurt Russell. Okay, calm down. was that we want you to read the book of Nehemiah, because I'm going to be referencing that not only last week, but I'll be referencing it again this week. Take the time to just kind of browse it and read all 13 chapters. It's really one of those great Old Testament stories. It's a beautiful allegory of everything, how it's a master class in finishing. It's a master class in starting. And that was one of the quotes that I started with. So if you guys had a favorite quote from Sunday, throw it in the comments. Let us hear it. But I started with a comment that I got from a class when I was 17 years old in the business class, where the business professor said that we are great at starting, but we're not so good at finishing.
You know what immediately comes in my mind is the eyesore of I-4, that big giant glass building that has been there for like 30 years that has not done anything.
Is it done yet?
No, there's never. What they got all the glass up, and then all of a sudden, it's been that way for as long as I know.
There you go. That's a perfect case study. Ride through any neighborhood, and you can see it. You'll see fences half finished, driveways half done. I've seen houses half painted. You know, they'll paint.
I had that thing in the front of my yard that I just started tearing down.
you get started, you don't get. So it is a valid point. We get started, but hey, Joe, glad to have you. We get started, but we don't finish. So what I'm trying to do is press that thought into your life about the satisfaction that comes by finishing. I didn't say this Sunday, so here we are in the family room. So I thought about this after church. I walked out and I thought, I didn't say this, but one of the most important elements of finishing is the starting. And Jesus said, you don't start something until you count the cost. I completely neglected that.
The cost of discipleship.
So if you want to write that down, you've got to, in every endeavor that you are going to take on, you've got to count the cost.
You got to go all in.
That was a good one.
That was and we were just talking about that. Actually, I texted Kelsey about it. It was supposed to be a short. Somehow it didn't even, it was 7 seconds too long. For the shorts or whatever, but I was just telling him it's blown up. She's killing it with the music thing that now she's adding is phenomenal. So I'll give her the props and the shout out on that. And she like slaves over those things. Yeah,
it's obvious.
It's a lot of work, but it makes such a difference. But it blew up. It's brought a lot of new people to the channel, so I'm thankful for that. And just as a reminder, if you're not on our YouTube, make sure you subscribe and hit the little bell thing.
It matters.
Look for when we put not just the live videos, because those kind of don't really boost as much, but when we post this stuff and it's like on there under video or shorts, go on there, like it, drop a couple comments, really kicks the algorithm into gear and all
That's
that.
super helpful when you make a comment, because we had just for a moment started getting a lot of negative feedback.
Yeah, it was me.
But I wasn't going to say that. It was him, and then and then now we're getting positive comments, and we would love to have a lot of positive comments. So
It's been some nicer sermons lately.
He even said that last time he preached. I'm going to do some nicer sermons.
It's going to be nicer. I've got. You asked me beforehand. I have 2 that I'm working on, but and one is kind of with the finishing thing, but I can't give it away because the point that I have is like the last big. Like to cap everything up
Behind the scenes.
So
Take the table, good. Doing nothing on purpose.
That's the first thing I wrote down.
Well, that's one of the first things that I said.
Yeah.
And it's intentional, and I think it could relate to a lot of people. Doing nothing is the place where you've gotten everything done and there's nothing else for you to do. Doing nothing on purpose is when you've got a lot of stuff to do, but you make yourself stop. Do you ever do that?
Not too much, because I have 3 young children, but I don't get to do nothing that much unless everybody else is asleep. No, I don't know if, a couple, I don't remember when it was. It was recently, but we took a day and we just kind of all just hung out and just didn't really do much of anything at the house. And that was really nice to not have to worry about chores or anything like that. The house was a wreck, but just to lay down and just kind of recuperate from, it was after some event or something we did at church, I think. But
come on. For those of y'all that have just joined, and we see a lot of you on YouTube and Facebook, Diane Murphy from Palm Club 51. Hey, from Palm Coast, glad to have you there. Jerry, say hey. Keith and Jerry, glad to have you guys. Thanks for dropping in. We are in Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and then the book of Nehemiah. The end of a thing is better than its beginning. Love to hear your thoughts about that. One of my favorite thoughts forever has always been, if it's not better, it's not over. That's
You said that I stole that from you, but
you
I
did.
said no. I said
if he's not dead,
if I'm not dead, he's not done. I got it from that Elevation song.
I'm not dead and you're
Pretty
not
sure we
done.
sang it here. I don't know. Might be one of those unreleased ones. I was trying to bring it up.
It all started with a moment of me doing nothing. And I listened to a sermon from 1977 from one of my, at the time, mentors, heroes back in the day. And he made this comment that really resonated with me. He said, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. That is electric. It's still electric. It's still, a lot of people in our church, when you say that, you can see heads nod. It's not how you start, it's how you finish it. And the irony of that is that he did not finish well, but it sparked this thought in me that I'm trying to share with you guys about finishing out the year strong.
Yeah, it's definitely it's been a weird year. That's for sure.
What do you think about the next year?
I have no idea. I'm not there yet.
I sent you something
You
today.
know, that was a good thing, but I try to be positive about everything. But I think next year, growth. That's the word that pops in my head. Growth
What kind?
in this church. That's the first thing.
How are we going to do that?
We're just going to keep on doing what we're doing.
What do you think about 2 services?
That's it's been a great time. We will see you next week.
In the family room.
Well, I mean,
We've got a lot to do.
yeah.
Yeah, all of y'all that I
It would
see
be
in here
good.
now are with us, so you already know. Sunday we brought up a little bit more about the school, and then we actually made public the contracts for the land that we are working on trying to purchase. If it's God's will, we'll do that. So the next year is going to be incredible.
It will be.
We're going to have to hit the ground running, all hands on deck. That little phrase, you have to go all in.
Yeah.
If I could get y'all all, write it down in the comments down there, all in.
It's gonna be a lot. We're gonna have to. We
It's-
got to do some research too for the building, so we're gonna have to be.
We've got to do a lot of stuff. There's so much that's going
travel
on.
around.
A lot of great comments I see in there. Jerry Strom, every great accomplishment starts with a burning heart.
I have that. I wrote that down too. I wrote down God will finish what He started. Every great accomplishment starts with a burning heart, and then I had stirred up in me like, how is your heart burning? Are you burning for God's purpose or for your own purpose, which ultimately would be Satan's purpose? And like that, with the God will finish what He started. There was actually a sermon from Elevation recently where that was a big point of, if it's something that you started, it's on you to finish it. But if it's something that God started, it's on Him to finish it. I think it's the blessing of letting go. I think it was the one that we were talking about from a couple weeks ago. I was talking about just letting go.
Because while you were talking, I was asking myself the question, is God obligated to finish what I start?
Yeah.
Woo! That's a fact.
Yeah, I think that's a big problem with prayer is God will give the answer that you need. So a lot of people, you're like, oh, He's not answering me. And it's like, no, He's probably just saying no because you're praying for the wrong. Actually, I wrote that down. Is it a no, or are you praying for the wrong thing? Are you praying for your will to get done? I've heard a couple of sermons on that recently where people try to use their prayer time to manipulate God because, we don't. Sometimes, we get stuck into not coming to Him with thanksgiving and things like that and asking for His will. We're like, oh, God, help me, get this good grade on an exam. Help me get that raise at work. Help me find a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whatever. Help me do this. Help me get my car paid or whatever. And there's a lot, and not that that's necessarily wrong, but there's too much manipulation of trying to control God. And you can't be a Christian and have control.
That's a fact. That's all good. All you guys, I see all in. Brandon, seeing the end at the beginning. All of those things are so critical to being able to finish.
All in.
Well, all in. What a great thought.
That was a good point.
Yeah, because half in, half out. Double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. I don't think people really dig into that as much as they should. The double-minded man. When you haven't made up your mind, what's left?
Yeah, and then you're still sitting on the fence, or if you're not all in, what results are you expecting really?
So every great accomplishment starts with a burning heart. So the burden that Nehemiah had, he went in Nehemiah chapter 1, people came to him and told him, our city is destroyed, the walls are burned down, and we are a shadow of what we used to be. And it affected him so much that he cried, he wept, and the burden that he had was so real that the king could see it. And then he goes into the king, and the king says, what do you want? And you know, what an amazing turn of events, that the king gives him everything. He gives him letters to go where he needs to go, gives him a permission to have everything given to him for free to get the job done. And I made a quick point about the favor of God on our lives.
The fog.
Oh, fog.
Favor of God, fog.
Kelsey, put that on a t-shirt. The favor of God.
Walking in the fog.
The favor of God on your life. I told that to a real estate agent over a year ago. If I can tell a quick story, in the family room. She's a member of our church, and I saw her one day, and I said, how's it going? And she said, honestly, not very good. Things are not happening. And she said, I don't know what I'm going to do. So I said, well, let's just pray for the favor of God on your life. And she's such a new Christian. She was like, I have no idea what that is. So I love people like that. We were right outside my office door back there, and I took 20 minutes and stopped, and we talked, and I talked to her about the favor of God. It's the blessing of God on your life that no man can withstand. Enemies can't stop it. God's just chosen to bless you, and it's His favor. And I said, let's just pray that over your life. And she did. You know, with the child-eyed innocence of a brand new believer.
How Jesus says to come to the faith.
Just like a child. And now she is rocking. And it's not, you know, necessarily about that, but God has prospered her business, and she is like a walking testimony of the favor of God. So write that down. You know, put that prayer to work in your life. God, I need your favor. I need you to open doors for me that no man can shut. And all that He does, and it changes everything. He makes even your enemies be your footstool. So the favor of God, you need to have it on your life.
I wouldn't go praying for that part.
Which part?
That's not really humility.
Well, what do you think about when David prayed, break the teeth of my enemies?
Okay, well, you know what I'm saying. It's, you know, it's not, that's the Old Testament, no.
And welcome to the family room.
You know, I get it, but then, you know, also, Jesus, pray for your enemies. So it's like,
yes.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
I think the main takeaway that I would say for that is just, you know, the battle being God's and not taking it into your own hands and things like that.
So here, let's dig into this. Every great accomplishment starts with a burning heart. Jerry, you're responsible for this. You started it. I said, and you give me your input, that's why I'm as nervous for this generation as I am, because there's just such a ho-hum. Mm-hmm. What do you think about it?
Well, there's definitely a ho-hum.
Yeah.
I mean, we're raising up testosterone levels for men are incredibly low and dropping. You know, marriage rates dropping. It's just kind of like a smorgasbord of do whatever you want and all this and that. And, you know, we spent however many years with the whole COVID thing, and then a lot of people, you know, in different areas couldn't go to work, or they weren't supposed to go to work, or they weren't supposed to do that, and then the government's sending them checks. It's like they just set everybody up to just get in this lackluster lifestyle of laziness. Mm-hmm. Say that 5 times fast. You know, and there's no drive. It's like they just took the drive away from people anymore, and now you've got, I mean, obviously it's still there for certain people, yes, but it's not there for as many. And then there's the ugly side of it being with cancel culture, I would say trying to, you know, stop that kind of mindset, because we have all this stuff against, you know, toxic masculinity and this and that. And, you know, I want to pose the question, is it really toxic masculinity, or is it just men that have more testosterone than other people and they haven't been mentored and guided in the right way, so they're going about things misleading? Obviously there is like toxic people, yes, but there's a lot of stuff that I think that they just labeled with a term with toxic or something like that, and it's like, no, this guy's probably just a jerk, and it's not necessarily his masculinity that's toxic, because I don't know, if you got like full grounded masculinity, you're not acting like a little boy, like these people act like that, or the definition of the toxic masculinity and things like that. But
It
they just
concerns
throw it
me
all at
because
everything.
that's why I say lukewarmness is so prevalent and it's so bad, because once you lose that apathy, that's a good word. Once you lose that drive and the determination, you kick it in neutral.
Yeah.
And, and when you kick it in neutral, you're not going to accomplish anything. And then it becomes a Pygmalion prophecy. It starts to self-fulfill on itself, that you lose the drive. And then you start feeling, well, this is my life and I'm stuck in this cycle and that's all it's going to be. And so I see people today self-medicating with drugs or alcohol, and they're numbing out, or they're abandoning themselves to other purposes other than the purposes of God. This generation doesn't know that they have a purpose. They are created in purpose for a purpose. Kathy Cochran. That's a powerful thing. You are created.
There's
with a
also
purpose.
the problem too. You were talking about accomplishments, and now when you see with like schools and things like that, where it's just everybody gets an award, the participation
Right.
award, and all this stuff. We took there's got to be winners and losers, and that's life. You're not going to win at everything. So this stupidity of teaching kids, as long as you're involved, you can get a trophy. That's just ridiculous, because that's not going to transfer into your adult life. You're not just going to show up to work and the only thing you do is show up to work and expect to move up in your career or get a raise or anything like that. Oh, they're going to end up kicking your butt out.
Years ago, I talked to a young man, and we was talking about business, and he was wanting to succeed and all of that, and I just said, well, you got to work.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, one of the cornerstones of it is you've got to work. And he said, no, I don't want to work. He said, I just want to own stuff. And
How you going to own it?
I thought it was a joke. I thought he was pulling my leg, and I was like, no, I'm not kidding. I said, well, brother, that's just never going to happen. And even if someone gave it to you, you wouldn't know how to work it. You wouldn't work it.
You'd end up
fall
losing it
apart.
all.
You would
Like the
lose it
people
all.
that, those things where you see the people win the lottery and then like in a couple of years
Yeah.
they've spent it on nothing.
Nothing toxic about masculinity. Brandon says unguided. Hello, Tina, watching from
That's what I'm saying.
St.
Men
Louis.
being men, but being told they're too much, and then they want them. So yeah, it's like we get beat over the head for, and the bar is so low now. And that's what I'm saying. Like the bar is so low for things, and men, like Kelsey showed me something. It was like, I think it was Daniel Craig, and a picture of him just like they had like one of the slings on with his son. I don't know if it's a son or a daughter. Whatever, but it was on, he's carrying it around, and there was people all, comment on it.
Oh,
It's
not
like
you too, 007.
debate. Well, it's like, what's the problem with that, for one? And then the other side of people commending, and it's like, dude, he's just being that's the most baseline thing you're carrying your child. Hooray.
So, this culture, and we're in a war, and we're constantly being indoctrinated to be soft, and the conveniences, too many conveniences, a lack of perseverance. Soft men won't defend, they won't pioneer, and they won't lead. Kathy and I were just having this discussion, Tanya, just this recently, that our forefathers landed wherever they landed, you say Plymouth Rock, and they took axes and hatchets and cut their way across the land. And we have a hard time waiting for 60 seconds in the line at McDonald's. Right. It's just, where are we?
Had to build their own buildings and everything, and now, just like that, we need pink goop that turns into chicken nuggets.
So we're working to finish. So Nehemiah tells, back to the story. This is great. Nehemiah tells the king, this is what he wants to do. He goes there, and I saw somebody earlier commented, you can't tell everybody what God has put in your heart because they're not yet ready to hear it. That is good. Remember that. You don't be surprised when you tell somebody what God has put in your heart and they look at you like you've lost your mind, or try to actually talk you out of it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking about us with the school and with this land. I haven't yet had anyone come to me and try to talk me out of it.
No.
But
there's been a lot of opposition towards it.
There's been a lot of that.
Things like that. But
you can't tell everybody what God has put in your heart. But I did say this, that when Nehemiah finally found the right people, and we need to find the right people, and he told them what God had put in his heart, the first thing out of their mouth was, let's go. And I said this, you need a lot of kind of people in your life, and one of the main people you need in your life are those let's go people. Throw it in the comments. Yeah. Let's go.
All in, let's go.
You need let's go people in your life that will say, maybe it looks a little crazy, and maybe it is a little crazy. What about this? Did you hear me when I said, let's start believing God for nonsense?
No, I must have been writing
You're writing
something
something down. I said, it stirred me up to start believing God for more nonsense. Stuff that is so big. And the possibilities that are so far-fetched that even your Christian friends, when you talk about it, they look at you like, wow, that's a little over the top. I think we need
It's
it.
vision.
Huh?
It's vision. I mean, like, just like that. Like, God puts a vision on your heart. It might sound crazy to some people, but then when you get there and you look back and there's your testimony,
Amen.
you know, look what God did.
Bring back Jim.
You can't. Like the thing, I won't go too much into it, but like the thing with the song "Too Good Not to Believe" and the whole metal plates dissolve, and so, I've never seen metal plates dissolve, so I don't want to sing it. And it's like, well, you might not have, but somebody else has,
Apparently somebody did.
and
God is greater.
we are literally worshiping a God that came down and died and rose on the cross for our sins, but we can't believe him to perform miracles. We read about miracles and this is awesome in the Bible, and then it's like as soon as you hear of it happening somewhere else, you immediately, I have never seen it, so it can't be true.
Right. Yeah.
Then
But
you're
if it
just
would
not
have happened
walking
in
by
front of you,
faith.
you would have told everybody.
Oh yeah.
So they go to work, and then the appearance of an adversary. Now, I said I wasn't going to talk about that too much last Sunday because that's what I'm talking about this Sunday, so I can't talk about it too much tonight. But the appearance of an adversary, one of the greatest guideposts that lets you know many times that you are heading in the right direction is the appearance of an adversary. So if any of y'all are watching, and this is just a thought, you're dealing with unusual opposition. Somebody has started talking about you. Whispers have started about you. At work, you're having a hard time, wherever, whatever. That sometimes is a great indicator that you are right where you need to be.
Yeah, and I mean, it's every good story, like you had said, every big thing or whatever, every good story needs an adversary. And if you've got nothing coming against you, you must not be doing anything great at the moment, for lack of a better term. But if you've got a big purpose, you're going to have a big opposition against you. I've said that, the level of your opposition is directly proportionate to the blessing or the purpose of your life. And I've heard it said a really good way. Sometimes the enemy has more vision for your life than you do.
Ooh, say that again.
Sometimes the devil has more vision for your life than you do. And that's that's the sad thing. I hate when people try to limit God.
Come on,
Just
keep going.
spoke everything.
You're preaching now.
Spoke everything in existence. You see all this stuff, and you think about it like the adversary. So just take it for like Moses in Egypt. God could have just been like, okay, Moses, you're going to go in there and you're going to tell Pharaoh, let my people go. And then it's just, okay, that's good. But is that as great as a testimony as he just kept saying no and he could have been killed, but he wasn't killed? And then we had all these signs go through, and then they get to go out. But oh, wait, they're coming after him again, and they're stuck against this body of water that they can't cross, and the enemy's coming back up on their thing. And then the big fire and then the water. It's like, it makes a good story and a good thing for God, a good revelation of God, a good showing of his glory.
Every great story requires the appearance of an adversary. And when that adversary appears, I mean, even the story of God's story, the appearance of an adversary, the devil. Every great story requires the appearance of an adversary. So I say if there's not one, you should stir it up a little louder until the adversaries, until people start gossiping about you and they start talking about you. You may be not doing as much as you thought you were. So Sanballat comes along and that just stirs it up. And then they keep building. And at one point, the fight gets so bad that they're working with a tool in one hand and a sword in the other.
You got to build and defend.
Say that again?
Build and defend. That's what I wrote down. Build and defend.
That's good. It's true. They work with a sword in one hand and a tool in the other hand.
That had to have been so much anxiety.
Yeah, well, they started griping. They started grumping. Yeah. It got a little contentious there for a little while, but they got through it. And 52 days later, they finished the wall. Sanballat came along and said, "Stop what you're doing and come meet with me." And Nehemiah refused to. Talking about vision, a vision is a clear mental picture of a preferred future towards which we are always moving. The importance of vision is that it keeps you from stumbling over setbacks and little obstacles. When an obstacle or a setback comes in your way, you realize this is not the end of the road. A bend in the road is not the end of the road. You just keep going towards what you see as the greater vision ahead of you.
And you got to keep your eyes on it. That's the point of walking by faith and not by sight. Because you can be given the vision and then you're walking it out or walking towards it. But that's where you get attacked. If you're staying on the path towards that vision, you're going to get attacked on it, because if you get to if the devil can get you to the place where you start doubting it and you're like, well, maybe that wasn't a God thing, it was just my imagination or anything like that, then he can get you off track and get you off of that purpose. That's why the enemy has more vision for your life than you do.
Tanya says, because he's been watching you.
Exactly.
Woo! I said years ago in the 80s, my pastor used to say, you need to be that kind of a Christian that when you get up in the morning and your feet hit the floor, the devil goes, oh, shoot. Here we go. Here we go.
Exactly.
And they have to dispatch.
Be a thorn in his side.
Yeah. Instead of letting him be the thorn in your side, you be the thorn in his side. That's good. There's another sermon.
And it's all just noise. That's actually, I can't remember if it was Sunday. I was listening to a sermon over the last couple of days, and it's something you don't really think about, but the verse, the enemy walks around like a lion, and it's easy because a lion's roar is very loud. They say you can hear it up to 5 miles an hour. You can hear it up to 5 miles away. And isn't it said, like, if you hear it, you're in their territory?
You're in his territory.
And, like, you're
he can
in
get
danger.
to you.
Exactly. So, that's why it's scary. But then if you actually look at the verse and slow it down, he's only like a lion. He's not a lion. He's like a lion. It's just
because
noise.
he counterfeits.
Yeah. I saw another church ripping that off, and I got a little upset about it.
What does it say?
When God creates, Satan counterfeits. And I didn't come up with it. It was Mark Driscoll, but I stumbled on somewhere else, and
Consider a Christian.
there's nothing new under the sun, but I like to operate as if someone else has said it. I like to say it. They said, I don't like to steal it from my own.
Give a little
it's
comment.
just weird.
Need more John the Baptist men. Amen. We need men, just those men.
We need Elijahs. That's what we need. Daniels.
We need to stir it up. So we're gonna
Revival is coming. I have full belief that, especially in this church, there is a revival that is coming.
There's a spirit
And
at work here.
it's
There's
stirring
something
up.
stirring.
You can see it.
It's exciting. And so the verse that came into controversy at the end was chapter 6, verse 16. It came to pass that when all of our enemies heard thereof, and all the heathen that were around us saw these things, that they were cast down in their own eyes, for they perceived that the work was wrought by God. So that is one of the reasons why it is so important for us to be focused on finishing. If God gives you a task to do, and I think about, like, I see Carol Dickerson in there, Acts 29. What a great thing you guys are doing, building those wheelchair ramps, giving people access to their homes. I'm sure that several times along the way, you guys have thought, bump it, man, this is just too hard. And you keep going. The other ministries that the food pantry people, it's hard. When I was in a hurricane down here once, standing in the parking lot, just getting blinding rain, trying to get this stuff done. You think about, man, it'd be easier to quit, but you got to finish, because the finishing brings glory to God. Because God is a finisher. We've got to see that when we finish, people will not glorify us, they will glorify God. And that's the point. That's the point of all of our lives.
Being alive.
When John says, I've fought the good fight, finished the race, kept the faith, that's the point. Run the race, finish the course, keep the faith. Therefore, God is glorified in that.
That's one of the sermons that I kind of got toiling around, is about running the race.
Mm-hmm. We're running it.
I've got that one and then another one, but yeah. I had a good point I wanted to say about the opposition, but now I don't remember what it was.
I'll say it Sunday. Give it to me later. I'll say it Sunday. Because that's what I'm preaching on Sunday, this Sunday coming up. Obstacles and opportunities. If you want to get ahead of everybody, the verse where the Apostle Paul says, a great and effective door has been opened to me, and there are many adversaries. We're going to go after that this week. I gave these things very quickly. Let me give them to you again tonight. In Genesis 2, the Bible says that God finished creation. Genesis 6, Noah finished the ark. Exodus 39, Moses finished the tabernacle. Deuteronomy 31, Moses finished the books. 1 Kings 6, Solomon finished the temple. John 17, Jesus said, I have finished the work. John 19, he bowed his head and said, it is finished. 2 Timothy 4, Paul said, I fought the good fight, finished the race, and kept the faith. This covers so much of your life, is to be a finisher. You don't want to get the reputation of somebody who just starts, no matter what it is, whether it's business or relationship or friendship, marriage, whatever.
It's easy to start anything. But yeah, seeing it through and having the perseverance instead of just giving up at the drop of a hat or any sign of adversity that's just failure on anyone's part.
Preach. And don't you think that is endemic of our culture these days? The opposition comes, that's it. It's too hard.
Exactly.
I quit.
As wonderful as technology is, it's also such a disgusting curse, because you've got people that would never have the hardware necessary to say things to your face, but they'll type it over a keyboard with no second thought. And we've seen it a lot recently with the comments on the church, and I'm not good at public speaking, or you gave that big hateful rendition about Elijah and this and that, and it's just like everybody feels so entitled without having done anything requiring endurance.
Amen. And that, I guess that maybe in the family room, that needs to be talked about to everybody, to build up that strength. When you're weak, he's strong, but build up your endurance. I think I told you, was it you? I was telling that I saw a kid who was working at Starbucks sitting behind the counter crying.
For what?
Because he had to work an 8-hour shift.
Oh.
He put a video on TikTok of him in a full-on cry down behind the counter at Starbucks, because they scheduled him for a full 8 hours, and I can't work a full 8 hours. I can only do, and if it's a mental health issue, don't send me bad letters. I get it. If he's just doing the best he can, I get it. But it seems to be endemic of our culture that there's such an attitude of weakness that prevails, that people we're not strong enough. We're not strong anymore. Brandon, never give up, never surrender. I'm thankful, and I'm going to shout it for now because I got y'all here. I'm thankful that Kathy and I have raised two strong men who have shoulders and square up, and they're men. And I'm so grateful for you guys.
I can't see working at Starbucks like that, for one, just coming from what I just came out of a career before.
And he calls that hard.
Yeah.
I can't do it. It's not, you touch the wrong wire, it
pour
blows
some
you
milk
up.
in a cup. And I can't do the little fancy things with the the little, where they put the leaf or whatever. That's why I just make it black. But yeah, that's, oh man. Men need to. We need a lot more blue collar boys.
Be stronger. Be stronger. Maybe that's a good sermon. We just need to be stronger. We need to be stronger.
Yeah, it's pathetic. Oh well, I know I was going to say something about, because I think it was Tommy or somebody said something about complacency, and there's such a problem where people are even praying to get comfortable, and nobody said the Christian life or faith would be comfortable. I mean, you read Hebrews 11 and it's like, oh, this was all great. And then they were sawn in half and ripped apart and all this and that. And it's like, nowhere did it say it was going to be comfortable. That's why it's about finishing the race and winning the good fight. The reward is after everything. But if you were comfortable, then you would just get complacent, and then you're not going to do anything. In that God's Not Dead movie, there's Dean Cain plays this super wealthy like businessman. And his sister's a Christian, and their mom has, she's older and has like a home health nurse or whatever. She's got dementia and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And there's a scene near the end where he goes to visit her. And she doesn't. He's talking to her or whatever, and it's all dramatic. He's like, you probably don't even remember who I am, and all this. And he's like, you've spent your whole life praying to God, and he's like, look where you are. And he's like, I don't have anything to do with that, and I am so comfortable in this and that. And then she gets that thing. And she's like, sometimes Satan allows people to have a comfortable life, and that's the thing. If you're comfortable and you're complacent, the devil doesn't have to attack you because you're just lazy, and then you're not going to go seek Jesus because he doesn't have to attack you because you think you don't need anything else. You don't acknowledge your brokenness of humanity and how weak you actually truly are and how you're not really in control of anything. It's just a good point. That's why I don't know why people want to be comfortable while they pray to be comfortable. This is why we've been talking about no more comfortable Christians, because that is just complacency.
Come on, that's a Joe Costello thing. And, we can't, where we're going, let's just talk about that for a minute. As a church, our next few steps, where we're going, we can't be complacent. We can't be comfortable. We need all hands on deck. We need people to be strong. We need people to be praying. We need servants. We need leaders. We need givers. We need all of that, because these next few steps are going to be so monumental in establishing everything that we're doing, that we're going to need all that we can. So we're encouraging you, challenging you to hear this as not just a sermon on finishing, but to hear it maybe as an overall sermon on becoming stronger Christians, stronger believers, stronger in your faith, and all that goes along with that.
Well, you have to remember, just with finishing. So, as a Christian, when you get to the end of your life and you finish, we have a reward, but there needs to be the urgency of the realization that people that aren't with God, people that don't know Jesus, people that have been refusing Jesus, they're not going to finish well. Like the zombie mode, you're going to be raised to eternal life, you're going to be raised to eternal punishment. And there needs to be, this is why Christians, we're already uncomfortable anywhere we go in the world. Everything's against us. It's by design. Satan is the ruler of the world, and he's just going to keep throwing everything and keep attacking us and this and that. And it's like we're so content with just coming in Sunday and getting, some songs and then a nice little meal and then pop right out the door, and we don't think about it again until next Sunday. And we think that one, if you think that is going to feed your spirit and get you to grow in your faith and seek a personal relationship with Jesus, if you think only coming in for an hour and a half or so on Sunday, 2 hours tops, is going to feed you for the whole rest of the week without digging into your Bible or truly seeking Jesus and having a strong desire for a personal relationship with him, then starting Sunday, don't eat any more food for the whole week until next Sunday, and see how that feels with not getting fed every day. And then wonder how your spiritual strength is when you haven't fed it at all.
Amen.
And you've been relying on, I guess I have 3 sermons, because I'm working on one about, I don't have any points on it, but of walking, trying to live out your faith through someone else, and trying to walk your faith out through the steps that other people are. Like people that come to church and their whole relationship with Jesus literally relies on what the pastor's saying, or if there's a small group available, or if there's another midweek thing. And it's like, that's great that you want to press in and everything, but if you're trying to live out your faith through everyone else's footsteps, you've got no foundation to stand on when anything comes against you.
Amen. You got to be in the Word. You got to be growing on your own. All that goes along with that. Forward. Oh, Joe and Tink, forward. That's where we're going. Brandon, be a warrior. Think with things to come, we all need to be strong. That's a fact. We're in desperate need of that. So with that, let's go land this plane here. We appreciate all you guys. We are in the last days. There will be no more comfortable. Seriously.
No, there is no reason to want to be comfortable. Because you wanting to be comfortable is just leading someone else to spend an eternity in not being comfortable.
Right. So it matters. Stay on track, stay on point, tell the truth, be the light, be the salt, be the believers that we're supposed to be in your Bible, be in prayer, and just be an influence wherever you are. Don't let your light be put under a bushel, but let it be put up on top of that candlestick so people can see it.
Exactly. And people are hungry.
Thank you.
People are hungry.
We're seeing that right now. There is such a hunger Daniel Williams hit me today, and we're going to meet tomorrow. He was talking about how that he's talking to a lot of people in a lot of different places around the globe, actually. And they're all saying the same thing, that there is a stirring of a spiritual hunger that people are wanting now to press into God like they haven't seen for a decade.
There's been such a shift, and there is still a shift of apostasy and falling away and people just in open rebellion. But there's such a hunger. There's people, I was with the street preacher that I've been talking about, and he goes to these gay pride events, and there is nothing anywhere that says you have to stop and listen to these people, but they still stop and listen.
Yeah.
And then they want to argue, and
And
it's
they wanna
like,
fight.
no one's holding you here, but you have that conviction deep inside of you that you know what this guy's saying is true. God has revealed himself in every way just enough so people would know, but it's just that there is a hunger, and the devil's trying to give you appetite control when really you just need to be ravenous
He's drawing
for
you.
your Redeemer.
The Spirit
I
of
needed
God
to
is
have another R word at the end of that.
Write it down. All right.
Ravenous for the redemption.
Sunday's coming. I know you guys are ready. This week we've got no excuses. There is no time change. I've already looked at the weather. It's going to be amazing. Service starts at 10 a.m. If you don't mind, send an invitation when you see that Kelsey has shared something about the church. Invite it, pass it along. Come early, sit up front, fill the front seats, make sure that everybody can find a seat. Think about really inviting somebody to come with you. I mean, if you know somebody who hasn't been here for a while and you've missed their face, give them a contact and just say, "Maybe we missed you." Did you get the new newsletter? Did you get it?
I got it. Looks very
Woo!
good.
If you haven't checked your inbox, check your inbox. We have a brand new newsletter that Kelsey has just produced and sent out. And if you did not get one, let us know.
Sign up on the app.
Sign
You
up on
download
our
our app, which you can get from our website, familychurch.social. If you scroll down on the homepage, there's a button to get the app. Get the app, sign up with your email, and it goes from there. We can get the newsletter. I think it's going to be a monthly newsletter
Yes.
with things like that. But it was cool. It was really nice. It's just because
Very short
not
read.
everybody's going to see everything that we put on social media. But it was a nice extra little tidbit. And just again, don't forget, Women's Fellowship is tomorrow night at
Thursday.
6:30.
Thursday,
Thursday.
6:30.
Yeah, keep
Don't
them
miss it.
busy.
They've got Nicole Hallwood from our 4S ministry is going to be the speaker for the night for the ladies. They've got fellowship all prepared. So don't miss that. We're looking forward to it. You're out this Sunday.
I am out this Sunday.
Come on. Good. Go enjoy your family. We'll handle it from here. I'll be preaching, so lower your expectations.
I'm sure we'll be watching
We'll be
at
there.
some point.
All right. Love you guys. Thanks for being here at the family room.
We'll see you. I'll see you next week. He'll see you Sunday.
I'll see you Sunday.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed today's message. If you did, make sure that you share and subscribe so that we can get you these sermons as soon as they are available. I'd like to take a moment and thank everyone that's a part of the family. Whether you serve with us or give financially, it's because of you that we are able to reach the world with the gospel of Jesus. If you have any questions or would like to get more involved, click the link in the description. Thank you. Have a blessed week.